A very good evening to you all and welcome to UBC News Tonight, this Tuesday, the 20th day of August 2024. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. On sign language, it is Senyemo Yusuf and I am Rukidi Kiijanangoma. Now, President Yoweri Museveni has received a special message from the President of Djibouti, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh. Now, the message was delivered by His Excellency Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, Djibouti's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation at State House, Entebbe. In the message, President Guelleh expressed appreciation for President Museveni's efforts in championing peace, security, infrastructure, development, and regional prosperity.
The most important element is the vision of how to create prosperity anywhere in the world. And in the last 64 years, our movement, which started as a student movement, has been explaining to our people that prosperity can only come from producing goods and services by families and individuals and companies, and then selling them. If I produce something, a product or a service, and I sell it, I get money. And if I do it again, I get more money. So the more I sell, the more money I make. And in that way, I can be able to support my prosperity.
Your Excellency, I came to listen to your advice, to your guidance. Peace and security is, one of the clusters that I promise to work on very hard. Djibouti and Uganda are members of the ATMIS mission, and we're working now on the post-ATMIS mission in Somalia. We have to handle in the Horn of Africa the Sudan crisis, and President Guelleh thanks you for your role. You even during the last summit proposed that the generals come to Kampala to meet. You proposed the venue. You are also very involved in bringing peace to Eastern Congo. Challenges of the continent are numerous.
Now, government and development partners have unveiled a campaign to boost water access, sanitation and hygiene in the country. The Wash is Everyone's Business campaign was launched by the Vice President, Jessica Lupo, at Sheraton Hotel with a guiding theme, Wash Away Inequality, Access to Water, Sanitation and Hygiene for Every Woman and Girl. The Vice President said access to water, sanitation and hygiene plays a key role in national development agenda and addresses inequalities. Take a watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, as she joins us, you're most welcome, Your Excellency. We thank you so much for joining us. And 3, 2, 1, and 0.
Access to water, sanitation, and hygiene, ladies and gentlemen, plays a key role in our national development agenda and addressing inequalities. I am glad this campaign aims to advocate and amplify voices of scaling up access and provision of gender-responsive wash services for women and girls in Uganda. Inadequate access to gender-responsive wash services negatively impacts on women and girls. This has partly contributed to the learners dropping out of school, exposed women at risk of gender-based violence due to the time spent to collect water, which could have been spent on the other productive economic activities. Therefore, addressing these barriers to access to WASH will call for our collective action from both the government and development partners to address issues of infrastructure deficits, cultural norms in our communities and institutions. The NRM government is committed to ensuring that we achieve universal access to WASH as stipulated in the Sustainable Development Goal 6. To date, the water coverage in rural areas is now estimated at 67% and 73% in urban areas across the country. I therefore urge all development partners, civil society organizations, and the private sector to join hands with the government to ensure that we achieve Agenda 2030 of leaving no one behind, especially women and girls who are most affected by lack of WASH services. I encourage you all partners present here to join the campaign and together with the government to wash away inequality and create a better future for all women and girls in Uganda. And with these few remarks, I take the honor and privilege to officially launch the WASH is Everyone's Business campaign. I thank you.
And we'll ask you, Your Excellency, to append your signature.
Now, to matters pertaining to the judiciary, where the judiciary has reported the disposal of 57,735 cases out of 219,573 cases registered during the fourth quarter. Now, this performance improvement is attributed to increased sensitization, technology usage, enhanced customer care, and better staffing. We have more in this story.
For many years, the judiciary has been faced with the prolonged challenge of case backlog, which has hindered justice to Ugandans. However, there has been an improvement in case disposal, with the judiciary disposing of over 57,000 cases out of the 219,573 registered during the quarterly fourth performance report.
The Chief Magistrate's Court's disposal of the highest number of cases. This was posted at 30,177 cases. This is out of the 57,000. This was followed by the magistrates with one court who disposed of 17,000 cases, 205. And this constituted 30% of that total number of cases disposed of. The criminal case type recorded the highest volume of cases disposed of, constituting more than half of the total number of cases disposed of for the period under review.
James Mawanda attributed the improved performance to various factors embraced by the judiciary.
This equally was helped by the adoption and usage of technology, the increased sensitization of the public about court processes, the advocacy of good public relations and customer care at our courts, the increased staffing. So by and large, we believe that with the increased support, we shall be able to work together and improve efficiency and effectiveness in line with our mission.
Judiciary also highlighted significant achievements in handling cases through Settlement Week, where 237 cases were resolved out of the 847 referred for mediation.
The commercial courts concluded 31 case files, and these are case files that involve a lot of money, more than 1 billion plus. 31 case files were concluded. It is a success. Mukono High Court concluded 10 case files, including land matters and other civil matters. Masaka High Court concluded 7 case files. Machinga Chief Magistrate's Court concluded 66 case files. and Mengo Chief Magistrates Court concluded 23 case files.
The settlement week conducted in 10 different courts of law across the country. According to Zirai Kananteza, the Deputy Registrar Alternative Dispute Resolution 2 billion was unlocked.
We all know how complicated a land question is and how hard it can be to resolve a land dispute. But as a result of just 1 week, 11 case files were concluded. There are a lot of disputes at the family division where families are entangled in disputes. So to us as an institution, if 35 case files at a level of a high court are concluded in a week, we will call it a success on our part. And there were those that were handled and partially concluded because there were issues that were yet to be sorted out. Because if a land dispute involves a title and the parties come to you as a mediator, and probably you need to refer to the lands office to know the status of a title. So some of them ended at that level, but still mediations went on even after the settlement week.
The settlement week started August 5th up to August 9th, 2024. I'm Waiver Njuko and Deborah Namamondi for UBC.
To the August House now, where members of the Finance Committee of Parliament have expressed dissatisfaction with the criteria used by Uganda Revenue Authority and the Ministry of Finance for selecting entities eligible for tax waivers. The State Minister for Finance in charge of general duties, Henry Musasizi, presented 8 entities to the committee. Members questioned why J2E Investment Corporation Limited, which had a contract with the Ministry of Defense for work at Kaweweta Military Barracks, should be exempted from the 2.7 billion Ugandan shillings in taxes.
State Minister for Finance in charge of general duties, Henry Musasizi, and officials from the Uganda Revenue Authority, URA, have appeared before the Finance Committee of Parliament to provide information on taxpayers, both entities and individuals seeking tax waivers. This follows a communication dated December 12, 2023, addressed to the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Anita Among, from the Minister of Finance, Honourable Matia Kasaija. The communication was requesting Parliament's approval for the remittance of tax liabilities for 8 entities, including universities.
Commissioner is of the opinion that the whole or any part of the tax payable under the law by a taxpayer cannot be effectively recovered by reason of hardship, impossibility, undue difficulty, or the excessive cost of recovery. The Commissioner may refer the taxpayer's case to the Minister.
Members of Parliament questioned the waiver request by the Ministry of Defence and Veteran Affairs for MS J2E Investment Corporation Limited. The company seeks a waiver of 2.7 billion in interest accrued during construction works at Kaweweta Military Training Barracks. The contractor faced investigations by the Inspectorate of Government IGG and had its works suspended. Several MPs sought clarification on the criteria for granting waivers.
Share with us the indicators for each of the criterion to enable us appreciate measurable, elucidate, and monitorable indicators. What procedure do you consider aside from the law? Because I don't think everyone who puts in a request gets this waiver, because I'm certain there are other people who could meet as well. Do you randomly select? Do you
the ministry and URA to come up with that method of how shortlisting was done in a very transparent way? You know,
since the minister chose to waive 100% of whatever request was put before them, and I want to know why they chose to go that direction.
Why this company is doing construction in the army, yet the army is doing construction all over.
An official from URA explained that they consider the overall impact of the business on the community and sometimes use third-party information for assessment.
In most cases, the main reason is difficulty, financial difficulty. So we will ask for that information, do all the verification that we will need to do, and then in most times we give the taxpayer time to pay this tax. So sometimes we even give installment payments of 1 year, 2 years, as we really study. We also don't just say, let's recommend.
Other MPs expressed concern that the ministry did not provide crucial information such as the memorandum and articles of association and audited accounts, which are essential for assessing a business's health.
The health of an organization, of a company, depends on, you can only derive and get a conclusive idea and make a decision based on audited accounts, not the sales and whatever. If you would choose to proceed with this particular case, you would actually be affecting the integrity of the whole process. In my view, on this particular case, we shouldn't proceed. Because there is first of all, you do not know the company. There is no audited statements.
How can we process a waiver from a company that is not known without audited accounts? How do we certain reputation and credibility? I think this alone makes us put this file aside. The major reason for this waiver to NSJ2E was that there was delay in payment from Ministry of Defense. So does delay for payment or for in procurement warrant waiver?
According to URA, the information on the memorandum and articles of association is held by the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, URSB, as URA focuses on directorship rather than ownership.
Required was memorandum. What we have, if it had been specific, if you are interested in ownership, we do not have ownership, but we have directorship of the company, because the company is directed by its directors.
Other taxpayers seeking tax exemptions include MS Nikontra Limited, VAT of 896 million, Busoga University, 763 million, Nkumba University, pay liability of 4 billion. The minister has withdrawn Kananura Donati's request for exemption of 1.2 billion from the list. I'm Nafka Farida and Gloria Gwitabinji at Parliament.
Now, hearing of the murder case involving businessman Henry Katanga has been postponed due to unstable internet connectivity that prevented a virtual appearance by the key suspect, Mole Katanga, from Luzira government prison.
Suspects in the murder case of businessman Henry Katanga include his wife Mole Katanga, their two daughters Patricia Kakwanza and Martha Nkwanza, Otai Charles, a Shamba boy, and Amanyere George, a medical practitioner. The case resumed for hearing Tuesday before Judge Isaac Mwata, where prosecution was set to present 3 witnesses to court. However, this was impossible due to the unstable network for Zoom to link to Luzira prison, where the key suspect Mole Katanga appears for trial. Although they tried to have the suspect via Zoom, but all in vain, thus prompting Judge Isaac Mwata to adjourn the case to 21st of August 2024. Mole Katanga was further remanded and bail applications for other accused persons extended. Businessman Henry Katanga was murdered in cold blood on 2nd November 2023 at his home along Chwarodi to Nakawa Division in Kampala District. I'm Ivan Juko and Viola Nansubuga for UBC.
Now, UPDF commandos, in coordination with South Sudan People's Defense Force and Central African Republic Security Forces, launched an operation against 3 of Joseph Konyi's camps in the Central African Republic, east of Sam Wonja. Now, all 3 camps were destroyed and equipment was captured. Deputy Public Information Officer Kano Deo Akiki stated that the LRA combatants will remain criminals unless they surrender to authorities for amnesty and rehabilitation.
Today morning on the 20th of August 2024, UPDF commandos in coordination with South Sudan People's Defense Forces and Central African Republic Security Forces launched an operation against 3 camps of the remnants of Joseph Kony in Central African Republic. This was east of Sam Ounja, and the 3 camps were destroyed and equipments captured, and these remnants of LRA still taking refuge in the Central African Republic, they are simply advised to surrender to the authorities, or else anywhere on this continent of Africa they are not safe. It is wise for them to hand themselves into the authorities for proper processing and rehabilitation. like we have done with other remnants. There is no shortcut.
Now, the International Center of Insect Physiology and Ecology, in collaboration with partners, is implementing the Agroecological Innovations for Smallholder Pest Management project. Now, this initiative aims to equip smallholder farmers with technological skills for managing pests, specifically the fall armyworm, which has severely impacted agricultural production in the country since 2016.
The fall armyworm, which invaded Uganda in 2016, affected agricultural production, leading to a 50% decline in crop yield. This pest has affected food insecurity for smallholder farmers who depended on maize and other crops for their livelihoods.
We couldn't harvest the good yield, or we couldn't take good yield from our garden. But after taking the technology of push-pull, right now we are at least having a good harvest.
And the technologies that we are promoting, some of them address all these three issues that are affecting the farmers. We are approaching this in two ways. First, we want to train these farmers to appreciate why we are promoting agroecological innovations. Then, once they appreciate and know how these technologies work,
ICIPE, along with other partners, has developed climate-smart and environmentally friendly technologies to control the pest.
We have developed several integrated pest management options that can reduce pest populations of the fall armyworm in farmer fields. These are one technology we call push-pull technology. It's an intercropping system whereby you intercrop your maize with a crop that pushes away the pest, and you have a border crop, a grass, that pulls the pest into the border crop. The pest starts eating the border crop but doesn't like it very much and dies off.
As NARO, that is mandated to co-generate technologies, the technologies we are generating, targeting to sustainably control the fall armyworm, will build up the gap that this loss has caused.
The project will mainstream and ensure equal participation of gender in the value chain. ICIPE is conducting a 2-day capacity building workshop for stakeholders to support those involved in project implementation.
Building the capacity of our partners on gender and gender concept notes and concepts, so that when they implement the project activities, they will take into account.
We are enhancing maize productivity, and maize is basically the food security crop, as we would call it. So if we do not look at the gender issues that bar women from achieving maize productivity, then we cannot achieve the goal of this project.
The fall armyworm caterpillars feed on leaves, stems, and reproductive parts of over 100 plant species. The pests have a 1-month lifespan. Irene Faith Nantongo, Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Select daily or use the MyMGN app. When we talk to the temptation to cut corners and underdeclare your income may creep in.
The temptation to cut corners and under-declare your income may creep in. But before you make that choice, consider the cost. Under-declaring taxes might seem like an easy way out, but the consequences can be severe. URA offers resources and payment plans to help you manage your taxes. You can pay in installments if it's difficult to pay in full. Transparency is key. Avoid penalties and unexpected liabilities by reporting everything accurately. To report corruption, call URA on our toll-free lines. Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Challenge ekuletedde African Culture Show 2024 okuvanga ennaku z'omwezi 5 paka nga 7 Septemba tugenda kulabisa Africa z'enjawulo nga zolesa ebyobuwangwa omuli amazina, emmere, poetry, ennyambala era nga tujja kubeera ne live African traditional performances. Tujja kubeera Kololo airstrip okuva ku saa 3 ez'okumakya paka ssaawa 4 ez'ekiro okuyingira emitwalo 5 twambala kifirika. Jangu olabe ensinga Nigeria, Ghana, Egypt, Libya, second guest countries omuli Brazil, India, China n'endala nga zolesa ebyobuwangwa bwazo.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah yo, Beidundolo.
You can now get all the juicy out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubi Dondolo. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Multi Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with baby Junior jelly.
Though dry-blood targets and everyone would admire their glowing skin, fun fact, baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior's the skin, no more worries anymore. Baby Junior.
Baby Junior.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. A warm welcome to those of you just joining us on sign language. It is Senyomo Yusuf and I am Rukidi Kiijanangoma. Moving on now, let's go to Jinja, where the UPDF Engineers Brigade has supported transformation of Jinja Regional Referral Hospital into a beacon of hope for patients and families across the eastern region. Now this after construction and handover of an oxygen plant able to produce 250 oxygen cylinders daily. Haruna Mtesa reports.
The UPDF Engineers Brigade constructed an oxygen plant at Jinja Regional Hospital capable of producing 250 oxygen cylinders in a day and supply the entire eastern region.
And this hospital serves a very big catchment area of around 4.5 million people. It is serving 11 districts and 1 city, and during COVID we had a lot of issues and so many patients needed critical care, and our ICU at that time was very small. It couldn't attend to all the...
We have the infusion pumps which help us to deliver specific amounts of dosage for the medication for the patients as prescribed by the doctor.
The ICU unit is rightly installed to ensure the safety of both the patients and health care givers. The ICU ward is fitted with 10 ICU beds, 6 high dependence units to manage patients in need of critical health care services.
These 2 projects have been implemented and executed by UPDF Engineering Brigade. Of course, the quality of work is good, and the cost for these projects is actually realistic, because when you look at the cost of that the ICU, it is around 800 million shillings, Uganda shillings, which is a realistic cost when you compare the cost with the other private service providers. Oxygen plant has been, we had the oxygen plant before, the old one, which was producing about 30 cylinders per day. But now we have the new plant, which is having a capability of producing about 250 cylinders in 1 day. So previously we have been having challenges of oxygen in Busoga region, because there has been a lot of need from the lower health facilities.
The UPDF Engineers Brigade had already handed over this intensive care unit ICU facility to Jinja Regional Referral Hospital, which cost 800 million shillings.
Jinja Referral Hospital, we've done 3 projects. We've expanded and refurbished the ICU, and then we have also put up an oxygen plant which is functional. If you went there, you would have seen that it's already working, producing oxygen. Those are the projects we have already finished and we handed them over.
Most of the cases requiring ICU services result from largely severe acute respiratory distress, severe asthma, poisoning, post-surgical, and COVID-19, among others. Haruna Mtesa, UBC News.
Now, the Minister in charge of general duties in the Office of the Prime Minister, Justin Kasule Lumumba, honored the opening of the 8th Uganda Evaluation Week conference by emphasizing the importance of environmental protection through tree planting. She encouraged stakeholders to actively contribute to conserving the environment. Minister Lumumba highlighted that the conference primarily focuses on evaluating evidence and lessons related to climate change and development in Uganda.
We come here as Office of the Prime Minister to work together with the government institutions, academia and private sector to look at issues to do with the monitoring and evaluation to be sure that we are moving on track. So our theme is basically to look at evaluation in relation to climate resilience. So we want to see that in our National Development Plan 3, we are moving to 4. How have we been able to move? On issues to do with SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals 2030, how are we moving on issues to do with climate change, issues to do with the climate resilience?
Just like I highlighted, if someone walks into a forest and cuts trees, burns charcoal, he's releasing carbon. The forest is a carbon sink. So when we stop him from doing that, we are able to minimize a lot of carbon going into the environment. So his actions are directly impacting on the environment, because the gases released, the carbon dioxide, goes into the environment and of course affects the cycle of climate change. But then also, it's not only in the forests, it's outside the forests.
Demonstrates UMI is a seat for M&E in this country. It's this university that started the process of M&E in the entire country. And I think...
That's okay, it's okay. Well done. Thank you.
Now, members of the Patriotic League of Uganda, PLU, have extended their support to survivors of the recent landslide in Chese by donating essential relief items. The affected individuals are currently taking refuge at Chese Church of Uganda Primary School as the government works on plans for their resettlement. The donated items include posho, beans and other daily necessities to assist those displaced by the disaster. Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson Patrick Onyango confirmed that security personnel remain on site to monitor the situation and ensure the safety of the survivors.
Nze sena kyendya wenzi akasente wagenze ndyawo bwentu nsaba mukama katonda mwabalese ebintu abatuze ne batufaako mukama bamperu
nawulira ne sente za PDM abasinga tebanakola ki tebanazifuna kati government erina okujja nekwatirako abakyala baffe bano okusingira ddala bano abali wansi ennyo ababonaabona ne bawaayo entandikwa enajja mu ssente ezirabirira abaana n'amaka gaabwe.
To the government to set aside a fund for such disasters because we, PLU and other well-wishers, are the ones taking the initiative to help out people. Yet there should be a government fund to cater for such incidences.
Nga PLU mukama waffe yatutuma last week tudukulira abali mu tent ku Chitezi. Lwenafuna information nti waliwo banafa ate bali mu mayumba abavundira nabo mu mayumba olw'enjala nga tebamanyi kikiddako kubanga tebakyakola abadde bakolerawa mu kasasiro.
Mutuyambye mwebale n'abantu baffe bakyetaaga obuyambi.
I had a site visit at Chitetika. They had gone to assess the work that is going on there to create a channel for water to flow, because in that place an emergency came up, water flooded and entered into people's houses, and it displaced very many people. According to the technical people on the ground, they said that the work will take another 2 days, that is today and tomorrow. At Chitetika still, when the team was there, they got information that people the team had abandoned them. They are no longer looking for their loved ones. But that is not true. The team had to handle this emergency before retrieving the dead bodies. We want to assure the people who lost their loved ones at Chitetika that the team is committed to see that they retrieve your loved ones.
Now, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, UBC, is set to launch its ambitious plan to establish the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation Global Innovation Media Institute. The project, to cost $45 million, will be officially launched on the 19th of September, coinciding with the corporation's 70th anniversary.
This 23-acre piece of land in Golobi in Kampala will host the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation Global Innovation Institute. The project is expected to cost $45 million, equivalent to 168 billion Uganda shillings, and will be launched on 19th September as the corporation celebrates 70 years of existence.
So we are looking at taking this a notch higher. We are looking at putting up some magnificent world look towers here, that will house not only UBC but also an innovation center, a training institute. So our futuristic impression of the future of UBC, it's not the traditional media that we normally used to. This is going to be a different ballgame, and we are calling upon all development partners, because we want all Ugandans all come and invest. It's going to be an open-ended, transparent process where we want developers to come. We have 23 acres. We have the master plans.
The UBC Global Innovation Institute will as well boost the financial mass of the corporation.
It's very important for us in terms of helping us to stabilize our financing. We want to recover from the drip-drop policy of getting money from government, from the treasury. We think this government has tried, but they still have challenges of financing us fully to modernize our equipment. So when this project picks up, we are going to get resources to modernize our broadcasting facilities.
The Global Innovation Institute will contribute to the professional career development in the media industry through improving the skills of young people.
It is going to be a 100,000 square meter development, and the knowledge gathered in all countries on planet Earth, we will be harvesting the research proposals, the development strategies, the developments in the education sector, be it in Europe, in Asia, in Australia, in Africa, in Latin America, in North America. Knowledge is the one thing that moves on an information superhighway today, and we, being in the digital revolution, are creating a content development institute. The public can expect that Ugandans doing research will be gathering development knowledge in universities, in the corporate sector, and in every parish in Uganda. UBC has established digital infrastructure for harvesting knowledge as it is generated locally, regionally, and internationally, in universities, in communities, and in the corporate sector. And we expect this to deliver to the Ugandan population and the African continent not only news of incidents and activities and events, but of actual developments that happen in the knowledge sector.
So one of the things we want to do is to skill and grow the capacity of
Uganda Broadcasting Corporation 70 years of existence will be marked on the theme 70 years of excellence. Adia Nakuche, UBC.
We'll take yet another short break and return with the latest in business.
Thank you for showing your fire! Has Nambole Stadium opened its doors once again? While you were moving in wet, you were the 12th player when Uganda Cranes needed you the most. Through our famous wins against Tubakunda and our unlucky losses, you stood firm, supporting even louder! Now, as Uganda Cranes take on South Africa and Congo this September, South Sudan in October, and play our second legs against South Africa and Congo in November, bring even more fire! Because with your support, Uganda Cranes is unstoppable! Uganda Fire! Proudly brought to you by MTN, the #1 supporter of Uganda Cranes. Together, we are unstoppable.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Multi Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Multi Technologies, your professional research firm.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, It's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
Royal Challenge presents African Culture Show 2024. From 5th to 7th September, African countries will showcase their cultural lifestyles of food, dances, poetry, clothing, and we shall also have live African traditional performances. We shall be at Kololo Independence Grounds starting at 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. at only 50,000 shillings. Dressing code is African culture wear. Come see countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Egypt, Libya, plus visiting countries like Brazil, India, China, and many more, showcasing their traditional cultural lifestyles.
Welcome back. Let's have a look at the latest in business. Economists urge government to prioritize skilling youth as part of its funding initiatives for sustainable development and poverty eradication. Now, these remarks were made by senior economist Fred Muhumuza at the launch of BRAC, Uganda's skill development program here in Kampala. We have more in this story.
Government has several initiatives that improve citizens' lives. However, there is a need for clear strategies to implement these programs effectively.
We think of money. Money cannot do many things. Money is simply a facilitator of a strategy. Without a strategy, money will just disappear.
For youth, the demands overwhelm available initiatives due to lack of preparation for adaptation. Despite the low incomes, there is emphasis for meaningful economic opportunities.
45 to 50% for some households of their income is spent on food. Of the remaining 50%, 10 goes to education and 10 goes to healthcare. What are we doing with that? That's the age of skilling some young people with certain skills they need in life to survive. And many times the skilling programs are so much packed up in the Ministry of Education, and they forget there are some other skills that need to be done culturally, through communities, and many other things. So the youth and development one is really to ensure that the young people gain meaningfully economic opportunities.
An expert in economics, Dr. Fred Muhumuza, emphasizes skilling to empower youth, aligning with BRAC Uganda's skill development program.
Sometimes you just look at them as laborers, but they are human beings. So we're saying the skills should not just be for employment that they do, but also how to manage their own social lives, how to manage the businesses that they establish.
Mentoring and coaching. What do we really mean by mentoring and coaching? Hand-holding these people to walk through their journey. We even have the example of people who started their, who completed their education and moved to the tertiary education, and at some point they believe that, well, they don't have any financial support, so they won't be able to move up to the tertiary level.
Since 2006, BRAC Uganda has focused on empowering women living in extreme poverty. Sarah Nantale, a resident of Boni Village in Iganga district, is a beneficiary who has utilized the skills attained for self-employment.
Okubita mu aim sawa dino nina obuvumu nsobola okusomesa bawala banange nkola crafts n'ekyalaani nkola ntunga. I'm back in school. Oh.
Despite the growing trend of skilling programs, the country still faces the challenge of skilled unemployment.
Partnerships between education institutions and industries would facilitate opportunities for work-based learning. Unfortunately, there is a lot of detachment. The institutions are there alone, creating enormous and various courses that will never be applied anywhere.
The government has made efforts to ensure inclusivity and accessibility to TVET centers, encouraging citizens to enroll in various skill programs.
I'm a director of industrial training, developing training modules which are really recommended by government. Okay, these local artisans, I call them local artisans, say in the garage, one is having a motorcycle garage, another one is having a restaurant there. These people are brought out and we have got the training modules for them.
BRAC Uganda remains optimistic that skills development will enable women to integrate successfully into the skilled job market.
Education institutions must also evolve to respond more effectively to the labor market demands by balancing on the content with practical skills. We urge stronger public-private partnerships to address the skills mismatch, to ensure that students graduate with market-relevant skills.
I'm Waiver Njuko and Hadija Navuga for UBC.
To Chese now, where over 4,000 runners from around the world are expected to participate in the upcoming Rwenzori Marathon. This significant turnout is anticipated to boost revenue through various local services. The Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities has committed 50 million Uganda shillings towards the marathon.
With only 3 days left until Uganda's first internationally accredited marathon, excitement is building. The event, hosted in Chese district, will attract international athletes, brands and media coverage. This year, 4,000 participants are expected, up from 800 who attended the inaugural Rwenzori Marathon in 2022.
This will be a good beginning for people to talk about the beauty of the area. Beyond just the one day they would have gone to participate. So every activity, for instance, we do Explore Uganda campaigns. Usually they will last 3-4 days, but the impact will be beyond just the one day event. So this may seem one day, but trust me, for us we see it as almost a year's activity.
Minister of State for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Martin Mugara, hopes that this year's marathon will enhance foreign revenue through tourism at the Rwenzori region sites.
But trust me, for us we see it as almost a year's activity. Just to, similar to the question you had asked, the impact is there. I may not have my figures right now.
Today, quite a lot of groups starting to enter the country. As I speak, the ambassadors of different shoe brands like Nike, Adidas, Puma, Asics are starting to arrive today in the country. Our timing guys coming in from South Africa are arriving today. They arrived last night and we'll be having a press conference later. These are things that actually make a difference. And key thing about this marathon is that there are less than 10 marathons in Africa that are certified by World Athletics Federation, and us having one of them makes Uganda extremely very unique. A lot of the runners coming today, coming this week, are partly coming to qualify for so many races across the continent, and many of them have arrived the country and they're doing different safaris across the country, and Friday we'll find them in Chese to run the marathon on Saturday. And they've not necessarily come with businesses that I'm involved in. A lot of them have come with different tour companies, others are external tour companies. And it has created a lot of opportunities. In terms of international PR...
In a commitment to environmental conservation, 50,000 trees will be planted in Chese district.
Neighbors, but they know our neighbors, they don't know us. If you look at the statistics, are very small. So for us as a country, we need to do things consistently and push an agenda that actually supports the country.
The annual marathon also emphasizes preserving and promoting Uganda's natural and cultural heritage. Mario Nawori and Robert Katamba for UBC.
International news, and we go to Somalia, where the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, ATMIS, has reiterated its commitment to restoring peace and security in Somalia. During a recent field visit to Jowhar and Baidoa, the administrative capitals of Hirshabelle and Southwest states, Ambassador Mohamed El Amine Swef, the special representative of the African Union Commission chairperson for Somalia and head of ATMIS, along with Lieutenant General Sam Kavma, ATMIS force commander, pledged to enhance the capacity of the Somali security forces and intensify military offensives against the Al-Shabaab.
With that one, they have really prepared well the relationship between the population, the civil leadership with ATMIS. It was really exciting how the DC, how the elders were talking good about the presence of ATMIS.
kulankaasi anaga waxaan ka degmo ahaan waxaan u aragnaa kulan qiimo badan inuu yahay sababta oo ah ugu yaraan waxaan nalaga ogaaday qaabka anaga aan ugu shaqaynayna amniga qaabka aan u wada shaqaynayna ATMIS oo degan Diisoor iyo qaabka baahiyada anaga amni ah.
Now, Vice President Kamala Harris is riding a wave of voter enthusiasm that has transformed the race against former President Donald Trump 3 months before the election. The 4-day convention in Chicago, about a month after President Biden, as a growing number of Democrats questioned the octogenarian's ability to handle the duties of commander-in-chief for another 4 years.
I'm here in Chicago where the Democratic National Convention kicks off today for a 4-day run. We're going to hear tonight from President Joe Biden himself. He will be speaking about his legacy, we expect, but also about what fate has brought him, how he decided, of course, to step aside for his Vice President, Kamala Harris, who's the presumptive nominee, along with her Vice President running mate, Tim Walz. It's going to be an exciting day here. We're seeing Democratic delegates and others flowing in. Right now, it's quiet because there's not much going on until tonight's big festivities, which of course includes the keynote speaking address from President Biden. It's been a whirlwind of events for the last few weeks. Things have quite turned around for the Democrats since the president decided to step aside and pass the torch on to his vice president. We're going to hear speeches from others, including Hillary Clinton, the former Secretary of State and wife of Bill Clinton, who is speaking later this week. Democrats that we've talked to so far are very fired up because polls lately have shown that she's ignited something with young people that has more than doubled her poll numbers where they were from just a few weeks ago, and extremely skyrocketed since President Biden was still at the top of the ticket. So they have that going for them, along with independent voters. The latest ABC Washington Post news poll that just came out not too long ago said that the independent voters have now swayed over to her side of the party and are excited about this new ticket. I'm Carol Van Dam reporting from Chicago, Illinois at the Democratic National Convention.
Sports news now, and the Federation of East African Schools Sports Association, FEASSA Games, have entered Day 3 at Bukedea Comprehensive, which is the main host, but with action at Amos College and several eastern Uganda venues.
In netball, defending champion St. Mary's Kitende beat national rivals St. Noah 53-40 to cement top position in Group A after 2 games. That result left St. Noah in a tight corner of needing to win the remaining 2 games against Kenya and Tanzania to progress to the semis. In girls volleyball, hosts Bukedia Comprehensive beat Kenya Soweto 3-1 to brighten their chances of making it to their maiden semi-finals, while St. Elizabeth beat St. Aloys of Rwanda to make it 2 wins in 2 games and a great chance of progression to the semis.
Into this game expecting to win it because yesterday we didn't play well. We lost our game and we could not lose the second game because winning this game gives us a better chance to qualify for semi-finals.
So this win of today really puts us back into the game, making our chances of qualifying to the semi-finals very, very bright.
In girls basketball 3x3, holders Kitende beat rivals Nabisunsa 16-13, while St. Noah beat Tanzania's Bingwa 9-4, and in the boys, Kibuli beat hosts Amos College 9-8. In boys basketball, defending champions Budo SS made it 2 wins in 2 games, having beaten Kenya's Dr. Agre 80-69 before beating fellow Ugandan side Janana 57-40. In boys football, hosts Amos College recovered from a 2-2 draw against Kenya's Muzingu to beat Rwanda's Aperugungu 2-1 to brighten their chances of making the semi-finals. In other boys football games, national champions St. Julian beat Tanzania's Kalangalala 2-1, while the St. Mary's Kitende versus hosts Bukedia game has ended scoreless. In girls football, hosts Amos College are on the verge of elimination after losing 2-0 to national rivals Venus. In boys handball, Hospital Hill of Kenya edged Tanzania's Magnus 23-12. Ntare School lost 30-12 to Rwanda's Adegi. Wampe Otake defeated compatriots Bombo Ame 29-24, while Seniak of Kenya outclassed Tanzania's Bunda 17-15. In girls handball, Uganda's Gombe walloped Tanzania's Kilombero 27-19. Kwanthanze of Kenya lost to fellow Kenyans Munduriko 15-9. Rwanda's Kiziguru humbled Tanzania's Njombe 2011, while Kibuli won the Ugandan derby against Kawanda. There were also games in hockey and rugby 15s and 7s, where the girls' rugby 7s was played for the first time at these games.
I brought my team from Mbara High School of hockey, where we are competing in FEASSA games, and in these games we are doing very well because I trained my team very well. We are very organized and we are hopeful we are going to perform well.
The action continues tomorrow in all games, but swimming and athletics are slated for Thursday.
John Barnes sent more with that story, and of course we finally come to the end of this first edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV this Tuesday, the 20th day of August 2024. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On sign language, it has been Yusuf Senyumo, and I am Edward Rukidi Kiijanangoma. Wishing you a blessed night, but remember that our second and final bulletin comes your way at 10 p.m.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Ambassadorial responsibilities involve balancing various political, economic, public relations, and domestic and foreign interests. They require mutual respect and integrity among nations. Diplomacy is central to this balance, and when it falters, tensions rise. This week on your favorite program, we look into the complexities and issues that contribute to strained international relationships and government